Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Star English once again. I'm your host, Dorothy Nam. 안녕하세요, 도르시 남입니다. Well, in our lives, we constantly meet people and sometimes become great friends with them as well. But what is the key of becoming a good friend to others? Have you ever heard of this phrase? There's a phrase like this. We secure our friends not by accepting favors, but by doing them. Well, that's exactly right. We should listen to the needs of a friend, lend them a hand if needed, and to be there when they need us. One of the keys in life is to be a good friend, a great friend. We at Star English want to be your good friend and English friend as well, and if we can. And we hopefully stay friends forever. Well, if you're ready, then let's get rolling, friends. When we say someone is a star, we would often think that this star would be far away, far from where we are, probably untouchable or unreachable as well. Well, there is a star that we know like it was our very own neighbor, a friend that will always be by our side. There is a star that is just like this, totally. The singer Brian. We have invited him back once again to have a one-to-one with him. Let's get talking with Brian once again. So, Brian!
사랑하다 끝났어 너무 쉽게 떠나버렸어 그만둔 우리 추억도 함께한 약속도 너의 몇 마디에 다 끝났어 따뜻했던 햇살에 나만 혼자 얼어버렸어 이제 차가워진 표정과 급하게 돌아서 마지막 뒷모습에 끝나버렸어.
Well, once again, we got to call Brian over here again, and we thank him so much for coming over on your busy schedule.
Thank you for inviting me again.
But we love having you on always, and of course our viewers just enjoy for you coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And you must feel good because now you have completed this musical Rent to the conclusion.
Finally finished.
You feel like, oh my goodness, what do I do with all this extra time?
Actually, no, because now I have to get ready to start doing promotions for my new single. And at the same time, I'm actually upset and sad that Rent's over because I had such a great time with the cast, you know, and I'm going to miss them for a while.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of them have other projects, so I won't be able to see them. Well, we're going to keep in touch, but to not be able to see them every day like I did when we first started practicing.
That's right.
That's going to be totally...
And to get everyone together in that one bunch, there's always going to be somebody
doing
missing.
something else,
yeah. Well, not that long ago, I heard you did actually a showcase in the U.S. too, and I heard it actually went well. Tell me about that showcase that you did.
It was my very first U.S. Concert tour showcase, and I went to Seattle first, then San Francisco, Los Angeles, and then New York. And pretty much just performed at clubs and to let people in the States know who I am.
Okay.
A little bit about Brian Ju. So it wasn't more of a K-pop side of me. I sang all my songs in English. So just showing that, K-pop artists can perform in the U.S. in English and that I am an English speaker.
Yeah.
It was fun because it was a different vibe. It's not like the vibe where you have to be like a K-pop idol. It's more like laid back, chill, fun. Certain people having to drink while I'm singing and stuff like that. It was very real. Yeah. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Do you actually enjoy singing more in English or singing here in K-pop as a Korean singer?
Back, if you asked me this question about 5 years ago, I would say English.
Oh.
But now, both.
Oh.
Both, because in both languages, emotion is expressed differently. Korean lyrics are very sad, the way love's expressed.
Right.
English lyrics on the flip side are very, like if you want to express party scenes and stuff like that, English is always easier to express party life.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's got both its ups and downs for both languages.
Yeah. Wow. You're talented, but not only just talented in what you do in acting, singing, and things like this, but you're also talented with languages, I think.
I guess. I didn't know I was talented in languages. Just English and Korean are the only two languages I actually speak the most.
And would you say English is more comfortable for you?
Oh, English is way more comfortable for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And growing up in a household of Korean parents, did they always have you speak Korean?
That's the main reason why I can speak Korean today. Is
Yeah.
because my dad always had this rule, since you and your brother both speak English all the time in school with your friends outside the house, when you're in the house, we had to go by his rules.
Oh, wow.
You know, under his roof, his rules. And his rules were not a lick of English at all.
So you have to speak Korean.
Korean.
Not to forget your Korean.
Exactly.
Wow.
Like he even taught us, like you know how certain Kyopo friends won't know how to say poku. You know, we weren't allowed to say 아빠 fork 쓸게요. You have
Like
to say
fork as
아빠
an
포크.
F-O-R-K.
Yeah.
Fork.
But then the Korean 발음,
Oh.
you have to say it that way.
Saying,
Yeah.
pronouncing it in Korean
Yeah,
even.
he wouldn't have let us say 아빠 저 television 볼게요. We had to say 테레비. So
Wow.
everything that's Korean related, we'd have to say it that way.
Whoa. Well, you know what? For things that you come on for talk shows, variety shows, that makes sense for you.
That makes a lot of sense because it even to me, when I listen to other Kyopos say the actual English word
Yeah.
properly within the Korean dialogue, it sounds really. How would you express it? It sounds like a banshee or someone just screaming in your ear, kind of. It doesn't sound right to me. So like, oh, the other day, or if you say like, oh, 안녕하세요, 저는 하이웨이에서 차 타고 운전했습니다. That sounds so awkward. And I'm like, oh,
저는 고속도로에서.
yeah, if you're in this country,
Right.
you know, at least be respectful to the country culture and learn the
Okay.
language the way it's supposed to be spoken in that country.
And
You know,
vice
and then
versa?
go back to Canada and America and speak
Yeah.
English the way it's supposed to be speaking or spoke there.
That's right. And we can take this mythology and thought and do it just exactly for English, learning English.
It's just like a respectful
That's right.
respectful thing, I think. That's what I believe.
Okay, so we're going to take you all the way back. We're talking about not the musical, but your album from before.
I just said all the way back to my birth. I don't remember my birth.
Yeah, how old are you now? Let me see your ID. Back to your Unveiled album. Tell me, because a lot of times when people watch this, they think it's a little bit risque. What did you think? Did you think it was a
You know
little
what?
risque?
I like doing a little bit of risky things because life is a risk.
Okay.
You can't live your life, you know, just going the safe route all the time, you know, without taking risks in life. You got to learn to fail sometimes to realize, okay, I messed up here. So for the future, I won't do this. I do this, you know.
Okay.
And with this music video, especially with the Unveiled video, people are like, well, there's blood in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a horror film.
There's like a bed scene in there.
Yeah, there's a bed scene. He kisses a
At the
girl.
club.
The club. What's he trying to, you know, he says he's Christian, but he's doing all these things. I'm like, you know, it's a music video. It's
Yeah.
acting. You know, that's all it is. Yeah, from time to time, I do go out with my friends and we hang out and stuff like that too. But in the music video, I don't really have black wings that fly out of my back. I don't punch a mirror in real life.
Right.
You know, it's all acting. It's all part of the scene and the style of the song. And yeah, I wanted to take that risky route because I wanted to show people that I'm not a cute little teeny bopper idol singer
Yeah.
anymore. You know, I'm maturing, and even though I matured a while ago, because back, you know, in the States, a 21-year-old artist can do something like this.
That's right.
In Korea, a 21-year-old artist is still looked at as a teenager.
I see.
You know, so I had to be very careful about it. But I'm at a point where I'm just like, you know what? I can go this route. You know, and I want to be risky.
Yeah.
I call myself the male version and the Korean version of Lady Gaga.
Is that right?
That's who I am.
A male version of Lady Gaga.
Because I was born this way, baby.
Poker face.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and actually take a look at a clip of your Unveiled music video. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
다시 돌아오길 바랄게 어떻게 너를 지워 수많은
Wow, that music video, I almost want to watch it again. Now tell me, how many times did you watch that music video?
To be honest, it was probably the first music video I saw, and I was very, very happy with it. I was like, wow, because it's literally like a 3 or 4 minute film. You know, it's
like a movie.
Exactly, it's got the love scene in it. It's got its romantic part to it. Then it's got the little horrific like background and me punching, like being a man and punching the mirror and blood and stuff like that. So I was actually disappointed that it was too short. You know, I wanted to do like a Michael Jackson Thriller type mini music video where it's like a short film.
So here's Brian Jew's new music video, 3 hours long. You're
Not
sweating.
that long.
You're still dancing.
I don't want that long, but I mean, you know, a certain length where people can actually, I can actually express the video better. You know?
Well, we know that's not the Brian Jew that we know Brian Jew is. And
I punch mirrors all the time, girl. Don't get me wrong.
7 years, 14 years, you know, 21 years. But tell us, what did you feel like, because you were actually acting in the music video. So tell me how that felt like, acting instead of singing in it.
I don't know. I guess before, when someone wanted me to act in videos and on stage, it was a very awkward moment. Like, how do you act? How do you get into the character? What do you do before you actually go on set? Like, how do you get your mind set for this very moment?
How did you get your mind set for that
Literally,
moment?
at this time around, with this album, I just felt ready. You know, I was like, you know what, it's my time. I want to act. And if I want to act, I got to get the right mindset. And, you know, I just looked in the mirror a few times. I looked at myself. I'm like, you know what? You're Brian Jew. Anything's possible as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah, you can fly with black wings.
I can fly. I'm not going to try, but I can.
You can fly. You were flying to the sky before. Why not?
No, she didn't.
Yes, I did. You know, while making this music video, was there any difficulties? Was there something, you know, how long does actually a music video take in the process?
There's actually 2 parts of the video that I actually really didn't like. The scene on the rooftop when I have a wife beater on, just the white wife beater, and I'm sitting there crying. It was so cold that day. And we sat there for 30 minutes in the freezing cold, and the director's like, cut. And then when he said cut, I thought that I was allowed to put a jacket on. He goes, wait, roll change, action. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I really want to just get bundled up in like a huge duvet or comforter, but I didn't get to. So for 30 minutes, I actually got a cold that day too because of that scene. And then
was
the scene,
what month was it?
I think it was February.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
And it was pretty cold in the winter months, you know, before, definitely.
And also the other scene that I didn't like was the part where I punched the mirror. Because I actually did break my pinky that day.
Whoa.
So it took about a month and a half for it to recover. So.
Wow. You know, so your fans are pretty much getting entertained by you, not just as a singer, acting, musical. You're really entertaining them. And I hear that you have fans internationally. And I hear that you really do take care of your fans, that you don't just, you know, okay, yes, I have fans. You know their names. Some of them you even chat with, you know, on a social chat and things like this, international fans. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, physically, I can't be there to do anything for them. So, you know, growing up, looking up to other artists is myself. You know, I love Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Paula Abdul, all those artists. And I remember one time I sent Janet Jackson a fan mail, and the only thing I got back was a printed out letter with a stamped autograph on her picture.
Wow.
And I was so heartbroken. And I told myself, if I ever make it in an entertainment business, that's not who I'm going to be. I want to be just like, you know, a normal person where if you're going to support me, I want to show the love back to you. And that's pretty much what I try to do. I can't do it for every single person in the world because I'm only human, you know. And so I take time to check Twitter, Facebook, all the blogs and stuff like that. And, you know, I respond to a lot of the emails and little comments that fans leave me. And I just feel like that's the right thing to do. You know, I actually have, I'm not going to say names, but certain celebrity friends are like, why do you take the time to do all that? I'm like, why do you not?
Ah, yeah.
You know, they're there for you. Why can't you be there for them?
Now, I've actually visited you when you were doing an autograph signing, and there are lines, and to the point that they have to break the line and say only 1,000 people. You know, you're there for hours signing. And it's not just signing your name. You ask each and every one of them their names. Yeah.
That's I guess autograph signings are the ones that are hard for me because I feel bad because you only have a certain time limit to sign certain autographs. And fans always want a certain message, a special little greeting. Like, can you write this for me? Can you write that for me?
Or sometimes they ask you, can you write it for my uncle, my cousin, my father, my brother, my dog?
I would love to do that. But then, you know, the only thing I can say back to them is, you know what, I would if I had the time, but there's a line of people.
Yeah.
So please understand that I can't do it right now.
Right.
And please don't be upset with me. Because, you know, I don't want people to be mad at me just because I couldn't sign that special little comment or whatever. You know, it's just, I don't want to upset someone else behind her just because I was taking so much time with her and then I didn't have enough time to spend with the person behind her. So I try to make it fair for everyone.
Yeah.
And autograph signings are the hardest place to be fair because you only have a certain time limit.
That's right. It's not like you can take the Korean 도장 and say, Brian, you got to sign it, you know, with their names and everything. Now, you do all this chatting and socialization with your fans around the world. So what do you think you'll want to also sing in the U.S. as well?
I would love to. Like I said back in the day, my biggest goal was to make it not just here in Korea, but in the States or any other country that would accept me. Because I feel like if I'm just a K-pop singer, I'm limiting myself to one country. I want to be fair to everybody who loves my music and be able to perform in any country. And the next country I want to go for is the States.
Yeah.
You know, America has always been a huge goal of mine to work in because, I mean, originally from there. Not only music, though. I actually really want to get into acting as well. You know, so before when I was in the U.S. tour, the concert tour, I actually, when I stopped by L.A., I met with some execs at some huge TV networks and got a few auditions and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll go through and one day all you viewers can see Brian Ju on the big screen in America or any other country, Europe.
You know, it's actually great because, you know, many actors aren't talented in all these areas, but you've got this incredible talent. I mean, you do backflips on stages, you know.
You make me sound like a circus worker.
I mean, you've got it all. You've got it all. You've got, you know, dancing, you've got the singing, and it's not like you are a cookie cutout singer in a band. You're Brian, who does really naturally a good singer, a dancer, and acting too. So, you know, if you had your choice of fame in the U.S., which way would you want to go?
I'd have to say acting. And a lot of people always say for me to do more movies if you get the chance to. But I really want to do TV comedy. You know, that's just something I love, you know, and I feel like if I don't get to fulfill something I love in life, I'm going to regret it. So if I get the opportunity, I'm taking it up. Wow.
So would you want to be known more as Brian Ju, the actor, or the singer?
I don't want either of those titles. I'd rather be known as Brian Ju, the entertainer, because that's what I'm here for. I want to entertain people.
The whole package.
Exactly.
Plus comedian.
I'm not no Ken Jeong, you know. Ken Jeong's, I got you almost.
Now, what if you weren't an entertainer? What would you want to go into? Completely not a singer, not, you know, an acting. What field would you think you'd be into?
Architecture.
Why?
I like, back in 7th grade, I was doing shop, and the moment when I had a hammer, saw, jigsaw, cutting up wood, putting things together, and I realized this is so fun. And like all the other kids are like, this is boring. I don't want to do this. And I would actually take their project that they're supposed to do, finish it up for them, and get them their A that they need for the class. And it was just fun for me, you know. And it's funny because my dad was really into that. And I guess pretty much, you know, people always say you don't want to always be just like your parent when you grow up, but you do end up rubbing, I mean, the parents do rub off on you somewhat.
Right. Yeah. Wow. I mean, because I think you've had an interior designer decorate your house, but it was all your ideas and how you want to align.
Actually, no, I had a contractor help me.
Okay.
But the interior decorating part was all me.
I see.
So I wanted to actually major in architecture and interior design. So those are probably the two things I would have done if I didn't do entertainment.
Wow, interesting. So you're once again talented in many fields in all areas.
谢谢. Arigatou gozaimasu.
And the language. Now, tell me, you know, it's been quite a while since you started singing here in Korea. Let's take it back again. And when you first arrived to Korea, although everything was different for you, what were some things that were thoughts in your head? Did you want to, at that moment, okay, I need to go back to America. This isn't for me. Did you have any of those kind of moments?
Oh, the first 6 months was like that. Like literally, my phone bill was just crazy because I would call my mom, I'd call my best friends back at home, like, come to Korea and take me back. Not because I didn't like Korea, not because I didn't like the entertainment field, whatever. It's because I didn't have any friends here. And for anybody in life, without friends, life is so hard.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I really had no one to really just talk to and to chat with on the side after work. And then after 6 months, I met a friend through another singer friend who spoke English, and he took me to church. And then from that point on, I was like, wow, there was this English-speaking church in Korea this whole time that I didn't know about. And
And thousands of people there.
And now it's just like English, 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 English.
English, right?
Now I need to learn Chinese and Japanese.
That's right. Expand your mind to other languages too.
Exactly.
Now, I want to take you really back before coming to Korea. How did you start as a singer? Now, I know this wasn't really you who started. It was a friend who helped you. If you can take us to that course of what happened. And I know that there was a contract signing and something happened in between. Give us the whole story of Brian's starting of the career.
Well, this is a pretty long story. I've tried to make it as short as possible. Actually, I was in a group, I don't want to say the name of the group, that had a fake contract.
Okay.
And I was actually living with 2 other guys in New York City when I was in high school during my summer breaks. And they kept on telling me that we're going to get signed with big labels in Korea, and we're going to release a album soon. And yeah, all these lies were told to me, but I still practiced. I even put my own money into, all the practice things. We had to rent out the studio to do the choreography, the recording studio, and all that stuff. And then I realized we're not going anywhere. I wasn't invited to any of these meetings, and my money's involved. I was like, you know what? Maybe my dad was right. Maybe the music industry is all fake. That's what I thought.
And this is all in New York. And
this is all in New York, Jersey. Yeah, back in like 96, 95-ish. And then finally, one of my closest best friends in my life, Grace, she went to New York and she saw a flyer saying, if you want to be a K-pop star, contact me. And she signed me up.
Wow.
Without telling me it in the beginning. And then the guy, the casting director, came to my neighborhood and called me. He goes, are you Brian Ju? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I'm here. My name is Gary Boone, and I would like to see you in person. And I was like, hold on. Your name is what? And I've heard of him before.
Okay.
Because he's casted so many people.
And he's from my hometown.
Exactly. And he casted Tony An from H.O.T.
Okay.
Andy and Eric from Shinhwa.
So this guy was real.
He was legit. He was legit. And then I was like, how did you find me? He goes, well, your referral number says Grace Ped.
Okay.
Does that ring, does that sound familiar to you? I was like, yeah. So I called her up. I was like, could I call you right back? Called her up. I was like, Grace, what's going on here? She goes, well, I found a flyer when I was in New York. I signed you up because I know that's your dream and your passion.
Oh, wow.
And till this day, every time I go back to the States, I make an effort to see her, because if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for her being in New York at that very moment and sign me up, I wouldn't be here right now.
Wow.
And it was her goal to be a singer as well, too. But she actually took the makeup route, and she's the makeup artist for a lot of celebrities in Hollywood right now.
Oh, okay.
She does will.i.am's makeup. She's helped the Black Eyed Peas out a lot.
Wow.
She works on set for a lot of films and TV shows as well. So she's doing very well. And every time I go back to the States, if I'm in the LA, San Francisco area, she does my makeup as well.
That's incredible. No, okay, so I know that there was also a moment after you signed a contract and then you almost didn't come to Korea. There was something that happened.
The car crash. Yes.
You had a car accident in the States after you signed a contract.
That
with
was the
this
immature
company.
Brian Ju, who should have been wiser back then. But it was after my very first moment on stage. Insuni 선배님, she actually performed in Atlantic City. She came to New Jersey, and they were short on back dancers. So the casting director called me and he goes, "Hey, Insuni 선배님 is in town. Would you be willing to dance for her?" I was like, it's like, wow, who's going to say no to that? So I was like, okay.
Because she's got soul,
Exactly.
you know?
They only gave us 2 hours to practice.
You were a back dancer
Yeah.
for Inzuni.
just for that one moment in the
Okay.
States. So we did it. We stayed up all night learning, watching the videos, doing the dance, got to dance with her. And I'm still pumped, you know, I'm
Yeah.
young, excited,
Yeah.
adrenaline just pumping through my veins.
You want to do backflips.
And then after the performance, I was still so, you know, in the moment that
Yeah.
I couldn't fall asleep. So that night I called all my friends, like, hey, guess where I just came from? I just came from dancing for Insuni, all this stuff, and, you know, like, trying to, like, you know, show off and all that
That's
stuff.
right,
And then my one...
In New Jersey.
Exactly, because there's not that many Korean singers that come to South Jersey. And then my one friend, she calls me up, and she was stuck at her other friend's house, and she's like, Oppa, can you drive me back home?
Right.
And this was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. And I didn't think I was tired at all because I was still pumped and, you know,
Yeah.
my adrenaline's all...
I mean, dance for Inzuni.
Exactly. Who actually gets that opportunity?
That's
you know?
right. I guess your mom right now. 우리 아들 브라이언이.
My mom was very proud.
Yeah.
But this was after my parents went to sleep, so I snuck
Okay.
out of the house. This is my junior year in high school. Snuck out with my mom's car.
Uh-oh.
Picked up my friend, dropped her off at her house. And at that point, I realized, oh, now I'm tired.
Okay.
But I thought, it's only a 10-minute drive to my house.
Yeah.
Within that 10 minutes, I fell asleep behind the wheel and crashed into a tree. Huge tree.
You had a car accident? Like you fell asleep?
It was my fault. It was reckless driving.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And you crashed into a tree.
I woke up literally 6 hours later. Because that road literally has like no cars.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't get is, I call this person my guardian angel because this person pulled me out of the car.
Yeah.
Had me like literally holding me like I was his own child. And when the
Wow.
cops and the police came,
So you actually had this car accident and you passed out.
yeah, I passed out. So I was
Okay.
in and out. My memory was like really shaky at the moment. And the cops came and was like, can you explain to me what happened? And I remember the guy goes, shh, I'll do all the talking.
Wow.
And he did the talking. I remember going back to sleep. I like passed out, woke up in the hospital. The guy was never spoke of or mentioned at all again. So I don't know what happened exactly at that moment. But if that person is watching this right now, thank you very much. He literally saved my life.
Saved your life, and you
that
don't know
car was
who
about to-
this person is.
I don't know who the person is. And my mom's car was almost about to blow up. If I was still in that car, I wouldn't be here right now.
And so in this hospital bed, you're thinking all kinds of thoughts.
I was thinking, where am I? What happened? Is this a dream? Am I not going to be able to go to Korea now to do the singing thing? Are my parents going to disown me? And the last, I was like, wait, where's that guy who pulled me out of the car? And nobody mentioned him.
Wow.
So
And so, I mean, were you physically okay after a while?
I
And
couldn't
you-
walk for a month.
So you
That's
probably thought.
the main reason why I was scared about not being able to come to Korea.
So here
and
you
sing.
signed a contract, you got in this car accident, you couldn't walk, you're in the hospital. You must have completely
I cried
shed
every day.
tears.
I cried pretty much every day. I was sorry to my parents, of course, because I was a
Yeah.
very immature, you know, son of theirs. And then on top of that, my dad, he really helped me out because
Yeah.
the crash was so bad that bits and pieces of the glass from the actual windshield were actually still in my arms and my shoulders. My dad would stay up every day
Wow.
with a safety pin and pull every single shard of glass out of my arms
Oh my goodness.
and my shoulders. And I remember that moment, I cried, and my dad was like, why are you crying? But I lied to him. I said, I cried because I want to go to Korea so bad. But in my heart and my mind, I was crying because I felt the love of my dad. I was like, wow, this is what father to son relationship really is.
Standing next to you, I mean, trying to pull out, I can't even imagine how.
Is you gonna cry?
I'm going to cry, yes.
The host of the show is going to cry.
Because it was such an important moment for
was a
you
very
that you
important
probably,
moment for
you know,
me.
not being able to, here you signed a contract and you weren't able to come, but here's this moment, father and son, and you're going through all this, and then after that, you were finally able to come.
Finally become, I started walking again. Yeah, and till this day, you know, I thank my dad for everything. Me being able to speak Korean.
Yeah.
Him sitting there and taking the time out, like, that's not an easy thing to do. Sitting
Yeah.
there and pulling out the shards
piece
of glass that came out were like
glass,
microscopic.
Oh my goodness.
You know, my dad's sitting there popping them out, blood just squirting everywhere. And, you know,
And all from a
best
car
friends
accident
won't even
'cause
do
all
that for
the-
each other.
Yeah, the windshield just breaking
Exactly.
into you.
And for my dad to do that for me, it really touched me. And I was like, wow, my dad really loves me. And my mom, I remember one night came in when I was about to go to sleep, and she's like, you should be very grateful for your father.
Yeah.
He loves you so much. even after he would do this, like take the glass out of my arm, she said that one time he'd go in the room and he'd start crying. So I was like, wow, that's real love.
You know, you have this wonderful voice. It has to come from somewhere. And I hear that your mother actually sang in Korea.
My mother actually came out with a single when she was 17.
Wow.
And only if I had that record, I would have brought it to Korea, even on the show. But my mom, after I found the record one time, we were actually cleaning out the house.
Yeah.
And she had to hit
And
it
she never
behind.
told you about this.
She never mentioned it to anybody in her family. And then I was moving a box, and all of a sudden this record vinyl thingy just falls. I'm like, what is this? And I look at it, and I'm like, okay, it looks like my mom. I was like, Mom, what's this? And she's like, where did you find this? And I was like, I was cleaning your room with you, and I found it behind the box. And she takes it, and she hid it somewhere where I found it again.
Okay.
And then when she went to work one day, I listened to it, and it was my mom's voice, and I was like, my mom was a singer. Wow. And if she tells me I can't be a singer, oh no. That's what I was thinking. And then after that day, she hit it so well that still I cannot find the disc.
Did you ever get to listen to
I
what
actually
album?
listened to the song.
Well, what kind of song was it?
It was trot, trot music, but it was like a trot ballad. And it was funny to me. It wasn't moving and emotional. It was just very funny to me. I was like, wow, my mom's voice is on a vinyl record. This is
And
cool.
so, what's your mom's name?
She used an actual fake name at the time.
Okay.
She used her real last name because my mom's last name, her maiden name is Yun. But her actual name, I don't remember the actual name on the disc.
So that's amazing to see your mom, you know, as a singer, but she hid it from you and you found it, you know. So do you think you actually got this voice from your mom too?
I would say both me and my brother got somewhat of a voice from my mom and my dad, because my dad's actually a very good singer as well. He sings very well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. There was a moment that, you know, you really got me there. But we're going to go home.
I saw your eyes all watering up.
Yes,
and I
I
tried
was
not to
getting
look at you because
dramatic.
I was about to water up too.
Yeah, we're both going to cry with a box of tears, you know, box of tears and box of tissues. But we're going to go ahead and get one of our viewers' message here, which we call Catch a Message. So let's go ahead to this. Now we're back on this segment called Catch a Message, and this is when a segment where one of our viewers sends a message.
Okay.
So we have a message here from Rover21 who says, if you can recommend for me any books or movies to watch to improve my English, how can you, or what can you recommend to improve my English?
You know what? I wouldn't just recommend a film or a book just because you want to learn English, but whatever you watch that's in English, I would say watch it a few more times.
Ah,
you know,
okay.
and
Repetition.
Repetition, that's the most important thing. Same thing with me when I learned Korean. I would watch Korean TV shows and listen to Korean music, but keep listening to it and go along with the lyric sheet. Or nowadays online, you can actually get the whole script of a TV show or a movie and just go along with it.
Yeah.
And then listen to how they say it, how it sounds. Then you try saying it out loud, and you can feel what it sounds like in your mouth when you actually say the words. And the TV shows that I would recommend nowadays with probably the most modern grammar and slang together would be like Modern Family, which is one of my favorite TV shows. Funny TV show.
Funny. And knowing and understanding the cultural humor of it too is very important.
And also for a movie, one of my favorite movies, I would say, what was that movie that you and I both watched and we cried so much?
Everything's Fine or something like that?
Everybody's Fine.
Everybody's Fine. Robert
Everybody's
De Niro
Fine.
was
Oh
in
my
it.
gosh.
Yes.
But that's not only going to make you learn English, but you're going to end up crying.
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
where
fault.
we have a box of tears over crying.
It is a sad movie, but it's good.
Yeah, it is really good. Now, you know, I've even seen, Brian, yourself rehearsing the musical that you did, Rent, and because you had to rehearse it in Korean and singing, so you had played this musical as a movie over and over again. Yeah.
I would actually sit there, watch the Broadway version like 3 times a day. Then
Yeah.
I'd watch the Korean Korean musical version that was here a few years ago. 3 times a day, just to get the vibe of different cultures and how they express the same exact dialogue.
Okay. Well, this is that segment we're going to go into where we say a special thanks to someone in our lives. And of course, we're going to ask Brian who that special someone is. And we're going to go ahead and give that thanks to that special person. This is that thanks to ... So a special message from Brian thanking somebody in his life. And so if you can go ahead and personally thank that person here on television.
Alrighty. I don't want to just name one name. I'm going to name a few names, and they're the actors on Rent, that did Rent with me. 서승원, 강태을, 김지우, 윤공주, 조형균, 이든, 박주형, 장월령, and all the cast. I want to thank each and every one of you guys because this is my first musical ever, and you guys didn't segregate me or push me to the side just because, okay, he's a singer, so he's gonna think he's better than us. You actually accepted me and embraced me and taught me what I had to do. If I did something wrong, you guys would correct me. If I did something right, you guys would, tell me that I did something right, and you guys made me really feel at home. And I know this is my first project, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys. 진심으로 너무 감사하고, 내가 첫 작품을 하면서 이렇게 좋은 배우들과 또 같이 이렇게 할 수 있다는 거는 되게 운 좋게 내가 배우들과 이렇게 하게 됐고, 무엇보다 진짜로 나를 챙겨줘서 너무 고맙고, 특히 형균이라는 배우는요, 저를 많이 아껴주고 또 더블 캐스트 마크 역할을 했던 친구인데 나를 항상 옆에서 도와주고 알려주고 체크해주고 항상 고마우고 I'm just very thankful for everybody who helped me on Rent. I'm never gonna forget you guys. I pray and I hope for the best for you guys. And you know what? Even though Rent's over, our friendship still goes on. So we'll keep in touch. We'll hang out. And I love you guys from the bottom of my heart.
Wow. It's almost as if you've rented a new family.
You don't understand, the Rent family was so great. I remember Benny, the guy who plays Benny Seosungwon, after our first opening night that I performed, he gave me a letter, so I thought it was a fan letter.
Okay.
Usually fan letters I take home and read.
Right.
And also I put it in my pocket, and he goes, oh, you're not going to read it? I was like, well, I'm going to go home and read it. I don't want to read it here. He goes, I wrote it.
Okay.
And I was like, you're joking. So I went home, I read it, and he actually wrote, in Korean, he was like, Brian, I'm so grateful I got to work with you.
Wow.
I haven't worked with a lot of singers, but since you are number 2 or number 3 singer that I've worked with, you're probably the most down-to-earth, more human-like friend I've ever met.
Wow.
I love you. You're a talented person. God bless you in everything you do, and I don't regret ever meeting you. And I just saw that card, and I teared up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. This is a great family.
Yeah.
I got so lucky with the cast. So, I mean, I'm very grateful every day.
And I'm sure they're very grateful too. And our viewers are grateful that you were able to come on once again in your busy schedule. And we wish you all the luck in all your endeavors and wishing you the best in your new albums and recordings.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And if you want to just go ahead and wave that big goodbye to everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everything I do.
Once again, we were so lucky to have that charming Brian in our studio, and he is so busy, and wow, the schedule is incredible. But what do you think? He is quite different from all the, from all the variety shows that he guests in, right? Well, he has that serious side of himself, and he was very deep and open with us. He likes to think. It's like that thinker. He shared lots of thoughts with us, deep thoughts. And I think this was a wonderful show once again and a great guest. I'm sure you'll agree with me there. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight. And don't forget to tune in further as we'll keep on bringing you great guests, the best guests for you, for our Star English viewers.